Lily Carter pressed her small hands against the cool window of the observation deck. Her eyes were wide, staring at the enormous alien ship floating just outside Earth's atmosphere. The ship was strange and shiny, shaped like nothing she had ever seen before. It glowed with colors she could not name. Her brother, Ethan, stood beside her, tall and a little nervous. "Do you think they will like us?" Ethan asked. His voice was low. He didn't want to sound scared, but his hands fidgeted with the straps of his backpack. Lily shook her head slowly. "I don't know," she said. "They look big and smart, really smart." Ethan looked out at the ship again. "I read that they have weapons that can destroy planets. Can you imagine that?" Lily's heart beat faster, but she did not show it. "Yeah," she said, trying to sound brave. "But maybe they won't want to fight us. Maybe they just want to see who we are." Ethan turned to her and frowned. "You're really calm for an 11-year-old. Lily shrugged. "I'm not scared, not really." Inside, though, her stomach twisted. She had been dreaming about meeting aliens since she was small, but now that they were really here, she felt nervous. The door to the observation deck hissed and slid open. 2 adults came in. One was Dr. Karen Blake, a calm woman with short brown hair and glasses. She was the mission leader. The other was Lieutenant James Foster, tall and serious, with a quiet way of speaking. "Lily, Ethan," Dr. Blake said kindly. "Are you ready?" Lily nodded. "Yes, ma'am." "Good," Dr. Blake said. "Remember, they might not understand our ways. Be careful and stay with your brother." Ethan put a hand on Lily's shoulder. "Don't worry," he said. "We'll be fine." The group walked toward the airlock. The metal floor was cold beneath their feet. Outside, the alien ship was enormous, casting a shadow over the Earth. Lily could see the curvature of the planet from here. It made her feel small, but also curious. The airlock opened with a loud hiss. Bright light spilled into the chamber. The humans stepped onto the alien ship. It was shiny and smooth, like glass and metal combined. Strange lights moved along the walls, shifting colors as they walked. Then they saw them, the aliens. They were taller than humans, with long limbs and glowing eyes. Their skin was a pale silver color, almost like metal. Their heads were shaped differently, wide at the top and narrow at the chin. They moved quickly and gracefully. One of them stepped forward. It looked at Lily and Ethan with eyes that seemed to see everything. Then it turned its gaze to the small samurai sword strapped to Lily's back. Lily's fingers itched on the handle of the sword. She had carried it everywhere since she was 7. It was her grandfather's, and he had taught her how to use it safely. She felt proud of it. But now, she noticed the alien tilting its head, as if it were amused. The alien spoke, but not in a voice Lily could understand. The sound was strange, like singing glass. Then a smaller device on the alien's chest made the sound into words. "Is that your weapon?" the device translated. "It looks primitive." Lily tightened her grip on the sword handle. "It's real," she said, her voice small but firm. The alien looked at her strangely and made a sound that the device translated. "It cannot harm us. It is only for play." Ethan stepped in front of Lily. "It's not just for play," he said. "It's a samurai sword. Humans have been using them for hundreds of years." The alien laughed. The sound was high-pitched, almost musical. More aliens joined in, laughing in their own strange way. Lily felt her face flush with embarrassment and anger. Dr. Blake cleared her throat. "We are here as guests. Please do not mock us." The aliens ignored her. One of them reached out with a long finger and tapped the sword gently. Lily held her ground, her hands steady. The sword was light but strong, made of folded steel. Another alien stepped closer and whispered, "A child carries this? How funny." Lily's hands clenched the sword handle. She wanted to say something sharp, something clever, but her throat felt dry. She took a deep breath. She was small, and they were huge. But she would not back down. One of the aliens, taller than the rest, waved its long arms. Its device translated the words, "Let the child show us." What can she do? Lily swallowed. She could feel the eyes of the others on her, and for a moment she thought about running. But then she remembered her grandfather's words. A sword is not only a weapon, it is an extension of your courage. She took one step forward. "I will show you," she said. Her voice was steady now, stronger than before. The aliens leaned in, curious. They had laughed, thinking she was weak. They were about to see something different. Ethan looked at her, worried. "Lily, are you sure?" "I'm sure," she said. "Just watch." She held the sword carefully and moved into a stance she had practiced hundreds of times. She remembered her lessons clearly. Balance, speed, precision. She was small, yes, but quick. The aliens watched as she made a series of practiced movements. Her blade cut through the air, moving faster than most humans could see. It was a dance, sharp and precise. She struck imaginary targets, swung and spun, her feet moving lightly on the shiny floor. For a moment, the laughter stopped. The aliens tilted their heads, their glowing eyes blinking. They had not expected skill from a child. Lily paused, breathing evenly. She had not hit anyone. She did not want to hurt them yet. She only wanted them to see. Then the tallest alien spoke, its voice serious. Impressive. "But still, it is only a toy." Lily's hands tightened around the handle. She did not answer. She knew actions spoke louder than words. She was learning something important. These aliens did not understand humans. They thought technology and size meant everything. But humans had something else, something they could not measure. The group continued walking deeper into the alien ship. It was enormous, like a city inside a ship. Strange lights illuminated corridors, and soft humming filled the air. Lily looked around, trying to remember everything. This was her first real encounter with another intelligent species, and she wanted to understand them. Ethan whispered to her, "Do you think we can really be friends with them?" Lily looked at the aliens ahead. They moved with grace, but they were also arrogant. They laughed at a child's sword. That told her something. "Maybe," she said quietly, "but we have to show them we are more than they think." They reached a large room with many devices. Screens floated in mid-air, showing stars, planets, and images of Earth. The aliens gestured for the humans to step inside. Dr. Blake nodded. "Stay together," she said. "Observe and do not provoke them." Lily's eyes were everywhere. She saw patterns in how the aliens moved, how they touched the controls. They were clever, but they had habits. They relied on technology for everything, trusting it completely. That could be important, she thought. One of the aliens walked to a large console and tapped it. A panel opened, showing small, glowing spheres. Lily watched closely. She did not understand all of it, but she noticed something. The lights pulsed in a pattern. It looked predictable. She studied it, storing the image in her mind. Ethan noticed her staring. "What are you looking at?" "Nothing," she said quickly, then added, "Just how they do things." The tallest alien turned toward her again, its glowing eyes piercing. It leaned down slightly, as if examining her. Its voice device said, "A human child thinks she can understand our systems? Amusing." Lily did not step back. She smiled faintly. "I like learning," she said. "Even about things I don't understand yet." The alien tilted its head, clearly confused by her words. The humans continued to walk, guided through corridors filled with machines and glowing panels. Lily felt a mix of fear and excitement. She had never been this far from home, and never had she been among beings so different from humans. But one thing was clear. The aliens thought humans were weak. They had laughed at her sword, underestimated her because she was small and a child, and that mistake, she knew it, was going to be important someday. For now, she kept her head high, her hand resting on the hilt of the sword. She did not know exactly what would happen next, but she felt a small spark of determination. The aliens had laughed. They thought humans were simple. Lily Carter was about to show them something else, though she did not yet know how. As the humans moved deeper into the alien ship, Lily stole one last glance at Earth below. The blue and green planet seemed calm, unaware of the enormous beings watching from above. She thought about all the people back home, about her friends in school, and about her grandfather's teachings. A small smile appeared on her face. The aliens had laughed at a samurai sword. But Lily Carter was only getting started. Lily Carter walked carefully through the alien ship, keeping close to her brother Ethan. The corridors were wide, shiny, and quiet, except for the soft hum of alien machines. The walls pulsed with light, shifting from green to blue to purple. Lily reached out her hand and let her fingers brush the smooth surface. It felt cold, almost like glass. Ethan whispered beside her, "This place is amazing. I've never seen anything like it." Lily nodded but didn't answer. She was watching the aliens closely. Their movements were precise, almost too precise. They didn't seem to stumble or make mistakes. Every action was controlled, every gesture deliberate. Dr. Blake led the humans into a large room. It was like a control center. Panels of glowing symbols floated in midair. Screens showed planets, stars, and strange geometric shapes moving in patterns. The aliens stood around the room, talking to each other in their strange language. The devices on their chests translated some of it into words humans could understand. Ethan whispered again, "Do you think they can understand us fully?" Lily thought for a moment. "Maybe," she said quietly, "but I think they don't understand humans the way we understand each other. They see us, but they don't really know what we can do." One alien stepped closer to her. Its eyes glowed brighter. The device on its chest translated, "Child, you are brave, but bravery alone will not save you." Lily didn't move. "I know," she said softly. "But sometimes brains matter more than bravery." The alien tilted its head, blinking slowly. Its voice said, "Brains. Explain." Lily hesitated. "I mean, humans can think differently. We can find ways to do things that seem impossible. That's why we survive." The alien's eyes narrowed, as if it did not understand fully. Lily realized something important. These aliens relied on logic, but they didn't understand unpredictability. They assumed strength and technology were all that mattered. That could be their weakness. Dr. Blake called the humans over. "We should observe. Don't touch anything without asking." Lily followed, but her eyes kept scanning everything. She noticed the patterns in how the aliens used their machines. They always pressed buttons in the same order. They looked at the screens in a certain way. Even their laughter had a rhythm. Ethan noticed her staring. "What are you thinking about?" Lily shrugged. "Nothing. Just watching." But she was thinking a lot. Her mind was working fast. She was small, yes, but humans could be clever in ways aliens could not predict. She remembered the lessons from her grandfather. A sword is not only a weapon, it is a way to see and understand your surroundings. She ran her fingers along the hilt of her samurai sword, hidden under her jacket. It made her feel stronger. She was small, but her sword was sharp and light. More importantly, it gave her confidence. The aliens moved toward a large console. They pressed glowing buttons and adjusted small levers. Lights on the floor changed color. A soft hum grew louder. Lily watched carefully. Each alien did the same movements in the same order. There was no variation. She memorized the sequence, noticing the pauses, the timing, and the way they reacted if a light flashed in the wrong order. Ethan nudged her. "You're really paying attention, aren't you?" "Yes," she whispered. "I think I see something important." The aliens were busy, talking to each other. They laughed quietly at one point, and Lily noticed how their heads moved together. They communicated with each other in ways humans couldn't fully understand. But humans had their own skills. Humans could think outside patterns. Humans could be unpredictable. That might be enough. Later, Dr. Blake led the humans to another part of the ship. It was a storage area filled with strange containers and glowing orbs. Some of the orbs floated in midair. Lily's eyes widened. She had never seen anything like it. "Be careful," Dr. Blake said. "We don't know what these objects do." Lily nodded. She reached out carefully to touch one of the orbs. It was warm and pulsed gently. A soft light spread through her fingers. She smiled. "It's kind of beautiful," she whispered. Ethan frowned. "Don't touch too many things," he said. "We could get in trouble." Lily pulled back quickly. She wasn't going to make a mistake. She was learning. Every movement, every sound, every glow mattered. As they explored, Lily noticed a pattern in the ship itself. The hallways curved in certain ways. Lights blinked in a rhythm. Some doors opened automatically when the aliens approached, but others required a touch or a lever. She realized that the ship was designed for efficiency, but it relied on repetition. If someone unpredictable moved through it, the system might not work as planned. That thought made her heart race. Maybe humans could turn the tables. Maybe humans could outsmart the aliens. In another room, the aliens had gathered around a large table. Strange maps and holograms floated above it. They were discussing Earth, pointing at locations with long fingers. The humans watched quietly. One alien looked directly at Lily. Its device said, "Child, what do you know of strategy?" Lily swallowed. She had read books about history, wars, and tactics. She had learned about samurai, knights, and soldiers who had overcome stronger enemies with cleverness. She said quietly, "Sometimes the smaller person can win if they think carefully." The alien blinked slowly, confused. Its device translated, "Small humans think they can match larger forces?" "Yes," Lily said. "We think in ways you don't expect. We can use mistakes to our advantage. We can use your patterns against you." The alien made a sound Lily could not understand, then turned away. It seemed annoyed. She smiled faintly. The alien thought she was just a child. That was a mistake. As they moved through the ship, Lily kept her eyes open. She memorized paths, lights, and the way the aliens reacted to different sounds. She even noticed that they liked symmetry. If something was out of place, it confused them. Ethan noticed her focus. "You're like a detective," he whispered. Lily nodded. "Maybe. Or maybe like a player in a game. I just need to learn the rules." Dr. Blake led them to a dining area. It was strange, with no chairs. Floating platforms moved up and down, and food appeared in small, glowing spheres. The aliens ate quickly, touching the spheres lightly. Lily watched carefully. Even their eating had a rhythm. "This is incredible," Ethan said softly. "Yes," Lily whispered, "but it's predictable, too." The aliens noticed her looking. One said, "Child, do you think you can do better?" Lily looked down at her sword. She remembered the moves her grandfather had taught her. She remembered how humans could adapt, improvise, and use tools in clever ways. "I can try," she said quietly. The aliens laughed again. This time it was louder, almost mocking. They did not take her seriously. Lily felt her cheeks heat up, but inside she felt a spark. They thought she was small and weak. That was their mistake. Later, she found a small alcove and slipped away from the group. Ethan followed quietly. "Lily, what are you doing?" he asked. "I'm just looking," she said. "But also thinking." She examined the walls and the control panels. She touched the hilt of her sword and imagined moving quickly through the corridors. She imagined disabling the machines, surprising the aliens, and keeping her brother and the humans safe. Ethan frowned. "Do you really think we can do that?" "Yes," Lily said. "We have to be smart. They are strong, but they are not perfect. They make mistakes. They rely too much on patterns. That's what humans can use." She felt her confidence grow. She was small, yes, but her mind was sharp. She had watched, memorized, and learned. She understood the alien ship in a way that even the aliens might not expect. As night came in Earth orbit, Lily and Ethan returned to the observation deck. The stars outside were bright. The alien ship floated silently, calm but powerful. Lily held her sword loosely at her side. Ethan looked at her. "You really are thinking about all of this?" "Yes," she said. "And I think we might be able to turn things around. We just have to wait for the right moment." The aliens had laughed at a small sword. They had laughed at a child. Lily Carter smiled faintly. They would see soon enough that humans were clever, brave, and unpredictable. And in the quiet hum of the alien ship, she made a silent promise. She would protect her brother, the humans, and Earth itself. And she would do it in a way the aliens would never expect. She did not yet know exactly how. But she was learning. She was ready. Lily Carter had been observing the aliens for hours. Every movement, every sound, every light on the ship was stored in her mind. She walked quietly beside her brother Ethan, pretending to follow the adults, but her mind was working fast. She remembered the patterns she had noticed, the way the aliens always pressed buttons in the same order, the rhythm of their movements, and how they reacted if something was out of place. "This is it," she whispered to herself. "I can do this." Ethan looked at her. "Do what?" Lily smiled faintly. "I'm going to try something small, but it could make a difference." Ethan frowned. "Are you sure? What if it doesn't work?" Lily's hand rested on the hilt of her samurai sword. "Then I'll try again. But if it works, we might have a chance." They entered a long hallway lined with glowing panels. The aliens moved ahead, talking quietly. Lily noticed that the lights along the walls flashed in a sequence. Each alien moved exactly the same way through the hallway. Their steps were precise. They expected the path to be predictable. "See," she whispered. "They rely too much on patterns. That's where we can act." Ethan nodded slowly. "Okay, but how?" Lily looked around. The panels along the walls controlled small doors and platforms. If she pressed one at the right time, it might cause confusion. She didn't want to harm anyone, just to distract them and show that humans could act differently. She slipped her hand into her jacket and touched the sword handle. It made her feel steady. Her grandfather had told her that a sword was not only for fighting, it was a way to focus, to understand the space around you. She felt the space in front of her, imagining her movements, imagining how the aliens would react. They reached a control room filled with glowing spheres floating in the air. One alien tapped a sphere and a soft light spread across the room. Another tapped a different sphere and a panel on the wall opened. Lily watched every motion carefully. She memorized which sphere did what. Ethan leaned closer. "You're really paying attention. This is like a game to you, isn't it?" "Yes," Lily whispered. "A very important game." She waited until the aliens were distracted, talking and laughing among themselves. Then she moved quickly. One hand pressed a panel near the wall while keeping her sword hidden. The lights on the floor blinked in a different sequence. A small door closed unexpectedly, startling the aliens. "What is this?" one of them exclaimed. Lily ducked behind a corner. The aliens tried to fix the lights and open the door, but every time they pressed a button, something else changed. The sequence they relied on was broken. They were confused, their movements awkward and uncertain. Ethan's eyes widened. "It worked!" "Yes," Lily whispered. "Just like I thought. They depend on patterns. They can't handle surprises." The aliens hissed at each other, glowing eyes scanning the room. Lily watched their confusion grow. They didn't understand what had happened, but they knew something was wrong. She pressed another panel, and a floating sphere shifted its position. One alien reached to correct it, but the sphere moved again. The aliens' reactions were slower now. They were unprepared for unpredictability. Dr. Blake noticed the disturbance. "What happened?" she asked, confused. Lily kept her distance. "Nothing serious," she said quietly. "Just a small mistake in the system." The aliens were busy trying to restore order. Lily used the distraction to move closer to a control console. She studied the buttons and levers. Each one had a specific function, but the sequence was always the same. If she altered it carefully, she could cause more confusion without causing real damage. Ethan whispered, "Lily, be careful." "I am," she said. "I just need to change the rhythm a little." She pressed a lever, and a platform in the middle of the room moved unexpectedly. One alien nearly tripped. Another flared its glowing eyes, scanning for the cause. Lily held her sword loosely, ready to move if needed. The aliens hissed again, clearly frustrated. They had underestimated humans. They thought humans were weak and predictable, but Lily was showing them otherwise. Then she noticed something important. The ship's security system relied on the aliens' control. If they were distracted or moved incorrectly, the doors, lights, and panels would not function properly. Lily could use that to her advantage. She whispered to Ethan, "I can make them even more confused. We just need to be careful and move fast." Ethan nodded. "Okay, what's the plan?" Lily looked around the room. She could see several paths the aliens used frequently. If she moved panels and buttons in the right sequence, she could create obstacles. The aliens would be slowed down, confused, and forced to react to something they didn't expect. "I'll do it step by step," she said. "I won't hurt anyone, just make them surprised." Ethan stepped back, watching her carefully. "You're amazing, Lily. I hope this works." Lily smiled faintly. "It will. Just watch and learn." She moved quickly, pressing buttons in a new sequence. Lights blinked in unusual patterns. Floating spheres shifted positions. Doors opened and closed at unexpected times. The aliens hissed and moved awkwardly. Their graceful movements were gone. They were unprepared for this human unpredictability. Lily felt a surge of excitement. This was the first time she had used her observations to influence the situation. She was small, yes, but clever. She was proving that humans could act in ways aliens could not predict. One alien approached a console to fix the lights. Lily pressed another panel, causing a door to close suddenly behind it. The alien hissed in surprise, stumbling slightly. Another alien moved to help, but a floating sphere shifted again, blocking its path. The alien's coordination was breaking down. Ethan whispered, "They're really confused now." "Yes," Lily said quietly. "They didn't expect a human to do this. They thought only their technology mattered." She moved to another panel and pressed a lever. A soft alarm sounded, and lights blinked rapidly. The aliens hissed and shouted to each other. They were panicking, unable to understand what was happening. Lily ducked behind a console, her sword ready. She could see the patterns clearly now. Every alien movement, every reaction, every mistake was exactly what she had predicted. They relied on repetition, and she had broken it. Dr. Blake and Ethan watched quietly, unsure what to do. They trusted Lily, knowing she had observed the aliens carefully. Lily had a plan, and it was working. She pressed another panel, and a small platform in the middle of the room shifted, blocking the path of one alien. The alien hissed in frustration, glowing eyes scanning for the cause. Another alien reached out, but Lily had already pressed a lever to move it out of the way. The aliens were trapped in a small area, confused and unable to act effectively. Lily felt a surge of pride. She was small, yes, but she had used her mind and her observations to outsmart beings much stronger and more advanced than humans. Her sword was not the weapon in this moment, but it gave her confidence and focus. Ethan whispered, "I can't believe it. You're really doing this." "Yes," Lily said quietly. "It's just the beginning. They laughed at us. They laughed at my sword. Now they see that humans are clever, even when we are small." The aliens hissed and tried to regain control. One pressed a button on a panel, but another door closed unexpectedly. Another sphere shifted, blocking its path. Lily moved quickly, pressing another lever. Chaos spread through the room. Dr. Blake whispered to Ethan, "I think Lily is doing something important. She's showing them that humans are not simple." Ethan nodded, watching his sister carefully. "She's amazing. I never thought... she's only 11. Lily felt a small smile. 11 or not, humans could be clever, unpredictable, and brave. She could use her observations and her mind to protect her brother and the others. The aliens had underestimated them, and that mistake would cost them. She pressed another panel, and the lights flashed in a new pattern. The aliens hissed and shouted to each other. Their movements were uncoordinated, their systems failing to respond as expected. Lily had turned the tables, showing that human intelligence could challenge even advanced technology. Ethan whispered, "What will you do next?" Lily looked around, studying the aliens' reactions. "I'll wait and watch," she said. "They will try to fix things, but I will be ready. Humans are unpredictable. That's our advantage." The aliens moved cautiously now, unsure of what to expect. Lily felt a sense of control, not because she was stronger, but because she understood them better. She could predict their moves, use their patterns against them, and protect herself and others. Dr. Blake whispered, "I think we may have a chance now. Lily is showing them what humans are capable of." Lily nodded. "Yes, and it's just the beginning. They laughed at a small sword, at a child. Soon they will see that humans are not so simple." As the aliens continued to struggle with the controls and panels, Lily felt a quiet excitement. This was the first real step in turning the tables. She was small, yes, but clever. She had used her mind, her observations, and her courage to challenge beings who thought they were far superior, and she knew this was only the start. Lily Carter moved carefully through the alien ship, her small hands brushing the smooth walls as she memorized every light, every panel, every moving platform. The aliens were still confused by her previous actions. They hissed and glowed, their movements awkward and slow. Their confidence had disappeared, replaced with tension and uncertainty. Ethan followed quietly behind her. "Lily, are you sure about this?" he whispered. "Yes," Lily said, her eyes scanning the corridor ahead. "We can do more. We just have to be smart and fast." They reached a large room filled with alien devices. Panels floated in midair, each glowing softly with strange symbols. The walls pulsed with light, and small doors opened and closed automatically. Lily noticed that the aliens moved in predictable patterns here, too. They always pressed buttons in the same order, they always walked the same path. She could use that. "This is it," she whispered. "We can take control, or at least slow them down. They won't see it coming." Ethan swallowed. I just hope we don't get caught. Lily smiled faintly. We won't. We just have to be clever. She held her samurai sword lightly, not as a weapon, but as a tool to focus. Her grandfather's words came to her mind. The sword is an extension of your mind. Use it to see, to think, to move. She studied the panels carefully. One button controlled a small platform. Another lever adjusted the lights. A glowing sphere floated in mid-air, responding to touch. Lily could see how the aliens relied on these devices. They were strong and fast, yes, but predictable. That was their weakness. She pressed a small lever gently, and the platform shifted slightly. One alien reached for it, but it moved again, blocking its path. The alien hissed, confused. Another pressed a button to correct it, but the lever she had moved caused another platform to shift. The aliens stumbled, their coordination breaking down further. Ethan whispered, "You're really good at this. I can't believe it." "Yes," Lily said softly. "It's just observation and thinking. We humans have brains. We can act differently." She moved to another panel, pressing buttons in a sequence she had memorized from the aliens' previous actions. Lights blinked in unusual patterns. Doors opened and closed unexpectedly. Floating spheres shifted positions, blocking paths. The aliens hissed and shouted, their glowing eyes scanning for the cause. One alien tried to fix a panel, but the sequence had changed again. Another door closed, trapping it briefly. The aliens flared their glowing eyes, clearly frustrated. They had underestimated humans, and now their confidence was gone. Lily smiled faintly. They thought they were in control, but they were not. Humans could be clever in ways they could not predict. She noticed another detail. The aliens communicated with each other using subtle movements and sounds, but their communication depended on rhythm and timing. If she disrupted that rhythm, they would become even more confused. She moved quickly, pressing a button to shift a floating sphere. It blocked the path of one alien. Another alien moved to help, but a small platform shifted, forcing it to stop. The aliens hissed and flared their eyes. Chaos spread through the room. Ethan whispered, "This is amazing. You're turning the tables completely." "Yes," Lily said quietly, "and we're just getting started." She pressed another lever. Lights blinked in a new sequence, confusing the aliens further. A small door closed suddenly, trapping two aliens for a moment. Floating spheres shifted again, blocking their movements. The aliens hissed and tried to regain control, but every time they adjusted, Lily had already changed something else. Dr. Blake and the other humans watched silently. They did not interfere. They trusted Lily, knowing she had observed the aliens carefully and had a plan. Lily was proving that humans could challenge even beings far stronger and more advanced. She moved to another console. This one controlled a larger area with several floating platforms and panels. If she pressed the buttons in the right order, she could create obstacles across the room. The aliens would have to move carefully, giving humans an advantage. Lily pressed the first button. A platform shifted, blocking the path of one alien. She pressed another, and a floating sphere moved, forcing another alien to stop. A door closed behind them, slowing their movements even more. The aliens hissed and flared their glowing eyes. Their coordination was gone. They were confused, reacting to situations they did not expect. Lily had learned their weakness. They relied on repetition, and humans could break it. Ethan whispered, "They don't know what's happening." "No," Lily said quietly. "And that's the point." She moved quickly between consoles, pressing buttons and levers in new sequences. Platforms shifted, doors closed, lights blinked in unusual patterns. Floating spheres moved unpredictably, blocking paths and slowing the aliens' movements. Chaos spread through the control room. The aliens hissed and shouted to each other. They tried to regain control, but every adjustment Lily made caused another problem. They were strong and fast, yes, but they could not predict human unpredictability. Lily felt a surge of confidence. She was small, yes, but clever. She had used her observations, her mind, and her courage to challenge beings who thought they were far superior. Her samurai sword was not the weapon in this moment, but it gave her focus and determination. One alien tried to press a button to restore order, but Lily had already shifted a platform, blocking its path. Another floating sphere moved, forcing another alien to stop. The aliens hissed and flared their glowing eyes. They were trapped in a cycle of confusion they could not escape. Ethan whispered, "This is incredible! They're completely stuck!" "Yes," Lily said quietly, "and it's working exactly as I planned." She pressed another button, and a large platform moved, creating a barrier between two aliens. Another lever shifted a floating sphere, blocking another path. The aliens hissed and tried to regain control, but every action they took caused more problems. Lily smiled faintly. They had laughed at her sword, at her small size, at her being a child. Now they were learning that humans were clever, unpredictable, and brave. Dr. Blake whispered to Ethan, "I think Lily is showing them what humans are truly capable of." Ethan nodded. "Yes, and she's only 11 years old." Lily felt a small smile. 11 or not, humans could think, adapt, and act in ways aliens could not predict. That was their strength. That was their advantage. She moved to another console, pressing buttons to shift platforms and floating spheres. The aliens hissed, flared their glowing eyes, and shouted to each other. Their coordination was gone. They were reacting to situations they did not understand. Lily whispered to herself, "This is just the beginning." They thought humans were weak. They thought size and strength mattered most, but brains and courage, that matters more. Ethan watched quietly, amazed. "You're really doing it, Lily. You're turning the tables completely." "Yes," Lily said softly, "and we're not done yet." She pressed another lever, and a small door closed unexpectedly, trapping one alien briefly. A floating sphere moved, blocking another alien's path. Lights blinked in unusual patterns. The aliens hissed and flared their glowing eyes. Chaos spread through the room. Dr. Blake and the other humans remained silent, trusting Lily's plan. She had observed carefully, memorized patterns, and understood the alien systems. Her actions were precise, controlled, and effective. Lily moved to another panel, pressing buttons to shift platforms and spheres. The aliens hissed and shouted, trying to regain control. Every adjustment they made caused another problem. They were strong, yes, but they were predictable. Humans were not. Ethan whispered, "They can't keep up with you." "No," Lily said softly, "and that's exactly why humans can win." She pressed another lever, moving a platform into the path of an alien. Another sphere shifted, blocking another path. The aliens hissed and flared their glowing eyes. Their movements were slow, uncoordinated, and awkward. Lily felt a surge of pride. She was small, yes, but clever. She had used her mind, her observations, and her courage to challenge beings who thought they were far superior. Her samurai sword was not the weapon in this moment, but it gave her focus and determination. One alien tried to restore order, pressing buttons and adjusting levers, but Lily had already moved platforms and spheres, creating obstacles. Another door closed unexpectedly, slowing their movements even more. The aliens hissed, frustrated and confused. Ethan whispered, "They don't know what to do." "No," Lily said quietly, "and that's the point. We have to be unpredictable, clever, and brave. That's how humans survive." She pressed another button, and a platform shifted, blocking the path of two aliens. A floating sphere moved, forcing another alien to stop. Lights blinked in unusual patterns. Chaos spread through the room. The aliens hissed and shouted, trying to regain control. Every action they took caused more problems. They were strong and fast, yes, but they could not predict human unpredictability. Lily smiled faintly. They had laughed at a small sword, at a child. Now they were learning that humans were clever, unpredictable, and brave. And in the quiet hum of the alien ship, Lily Carter felt a surge of confidence. She was small, yes, but clever. She had used her observations, her mind, and her courage to challenge beings who thought they were far superior. Lily Carter stood in the control room, her small hands steady on the hilt of her samurai sword. Her eyes scanned the aliens' movements, the blinking lights, and the shifting platforms. Chaos had spread through the ship, and the aliens were struggling to regain control. They were strong, yes, but predictable. Humans, she realized, were something they could never predict. Ethan stood beside her, wide-eyed and amazed. "Lily, they don't know what to do. You've really done it." "Yes," Lily said softly, "but we're not done yet. We need to finish this, show them what humans are really capable of." The aliens hissed and glowed, their eyes scanning for the cause of their confusion. One of them tried to press a panel, but another door closed suddenly, blocking its path. Floating spheres shifted in midair, forcing the aliens to stop. Their coordination was gone. They shouted at each other, frustrated and angry. Lily's heart beat faster. She had been planning this moment for hours, watching, memorizing, and learning. Now it was time to act decisively. She pressed a lever on a console, causing a series of platforms to shift. A group of aliens became trapped in a small section of the room, unable to move. Another platform moved, forcing others to step back. Dr. Blake watched silently, knowing that Lily's plan was working. She had never seen such cleverness from someone so young. Ethan's eyes sparkled with pride and amazement. Lily whispered to herself, "This is it. Time to show them humans are more than they think." She moved to another panel, pressing buttons that adjusted the floating spheres. They moved unpredictably, blocking paths and creating obstacles. The aliens hissed and flared their glowing eyes. They tried to restore order, but every action they took caused another problem. Their confidence had vanished, replaced by confusion and frustration. One alien approached a console to regain control, but Lily had already pressed another lever. A small door closed unexpectedly, trapping it briefly. Another floating sphere shifted, blocking the path of two more aliens. Chaos spread through the room, and the aliens hissed angrily. Ethan whispered, "They've completely lost control. You're incredible, Lily." Lily smiled faintly. "It's not about me, it's about humans. We have brains, courage, and the ability to think differently. That's what makes us strong." She pressed another button. A large platform moved, creating a barrier between the aliens and the humans. Another lever shifted floating spheres, blocking paths and slowing their movements. The aliens hissed and shouted, trying to regain control, but every adjustment they made caused more problems. Dr. Blake and the other humans watched quietly, amazed at Lily's ability to think quickly and act decisively. She had observed the aliens carefully, memorized their patterns, and now used that knowledge to protect everyone and turn the tables. Lily pressed another lever, and a platform shifted to block the path of one alien. A floating sphere moved, forcing another alien to stop. Lights blinked in unusual sequences, confusing the aliens further. They hissed and flared their glowing eyes, unable to understand what was happening. Ethan whispered, "They don't know what's going on. You've completely outsmarted them." "Yes," Lily said softly, "and this is just the beginning." She moved quickly between consoles, pressing buttons and levers in new sequences. Platforms shifted, doors opened and closed unexpectedly, and floating spheres moved unpredictably. The aliens hissed and shouted, their coordination completely broken. One alien tried to approach a panel to fix the situation, but Lily pressed another lever, causing a platform to shift and block its path. Another sphere moved, forcing another alien to stop. Lights blinked in strange patterns. The aliens hissed and flared their glowing eyes. They were trapped in a cycle of confusion they could not escape. Lily smiled faintly. They had laughed at her sword, at her small size, and at her being a child. Now they were learning that humans were clever, unpredictable, and brave. Dr. Blake whispered to Ethan, "Lily is showing them the true power of humans. Intelligence and courage can defeat strength and technology." Ethan nodded, wide-eyed. "She's amazing. I can't believe she's only 11. Lily moved to another console. This one controlled the entire section of the ship they were in. She pressed buttons carefully, shifting platforms and floating spheres. Lights blinked in unusual patterns. The aliens hissed, flared their glowing eyes, and tried to regain control. Every action they took caused more problems. She pressed another lever, and a large door closed unexpectedly, trapping a group of aliens in one section. A floating sphere shifted, blocking another path. The aliens hissed and flared their eyes. They tried to restore order, but Lily had already created another obstacle. Ethan whispered, "They can't keep up. You've completely turned the tables." "Yes," Lily said softly. "Humans are unpredictable, clever, and brave. That's our advantage. They thought technology and size mattered most, but they forgot about brains and courage." She pressed another button. A series of platforms shifted, creating obstacles across the room. The aliens hissed and shouted, trying to regain control. Every adjustment they made caused more problems. Their movements were slow, uncoordinated, and awkward. Lily smiled. They had underestimated humans, and now they were learning the hard way. Humans were clever, adaptable, and brave. A child with observation and courage could challenge even the most advanced beings. She pressed another lever, moving a floating sphere into the path of one alien. Another platform shifted, forcing another alien to stop. Lights blinked in unusual patterns. Chaos spread through the room. The aliens hissed and shouted, unable to restore order. Ethan whispered, "This is incredible. They've lost all control." "Yes," Lily said softly, "and it's time to finish this." She pressed another button. A large platform shifted, creating a barrier between the aliens and the humans. Another lever moved a floating sphere, blocking paths and slowing their movements. The aliens hissed, flared their glowing eyes, and shouted. They were trapped in a cycle of confusion they could not escape. Dr. Blake whispered to Ethan, "This is amazing. Lily has shown them that humans are more than they think. She has outsmarted them." Ethan nodded. "She's incredible. I'm so proud of her." Lily pressed another lever, moving platforms and spheres to create obstacles across the room. Lights blinked in unusual patterns. The aliens hissed and flared their glowing eyes. They tried to regain control, but every adjustment caused more problems. She smiled faintly. They had laughed at a small sword, at her being a child. Now they were learning that humans were clever, brave, and unpredictable. Lily moved to another console, pressing buttons and levers carefully. Platforms shifted, floating spheres moved, and doors opened and closed unexpectedly. The aliens hissed and shouted, unable to regain control. Their movements were slow, uncoordinated, and awkward. Ethan whispered, "They can't keep up. You've completely turned the tables." "Yes," Lily said softly. "Humans are unpredictable. We can think differently, act cleverly, and face dangers with courage. That's what makes us strong." She pressed another lever, shifting platforms and spheres. A door closed unexpectedly, trapping a group of aliens. Another platform moved, forcing others to stop. Lights blinked in strange sequences. Chaos spread through the room. The aliens hissed and shouted, trying to regain control. Every action they took caused more problems. Their confidence was gone, replaced with frustration and confusion. Lily smiled faintly. They had underestimated humans, and now they were learning that brains and courage could challenge strength and technology. Dr. Blake whispered, "This is incredible. Lily has shown them the true power of humans." Ethan nodded, amazed. "She's only 11, but she's brilliant." Lily pressed another button. Platforms shifted, spheres moved, and doors closed unexpectedly. The aliens hissed and flared their eyes, unable to restore order. They tried to adjust, but every action caused more problems. Lily felt a quiet satisfaction. She had turned the tables completely. The aliens had laughed at her sword, at her size, at her being a child. Now they were humbled. Humans were clever, unpredictable, and brave. Even a small child could challenge them and protect others. She pressed another lever, moving a floating sphere into the path of an alien. Another platform shifted, forcing another alien to stop. Chaos spread through the room. The aliens hissed, frustrated and confused. Ethan whispered, "They're completely trapped. You did it!" "Yes," Lily said softly, "and now they understand. Humans are more than they think." The aliens stopped, their glowing eyes dimming slightly. They had realized their mistake. They had underestimated humans, and now they were humbled. Lily's courage, intelligence, and careful planning had shown them that strength and technology were not everything. Humans had brains, adaptability, and courage. Lily held her samurai sword loosely, a small smile on her face. She had turned the tables, protected her brother and the humans, and shown the aliens the true power of humanity. Ethan looked at her, eyes wide. "You did it, Lily. You really did it." "Yes," Lily said softly. "We did it. Humans are clever, brave, and unpredictable. That's why we survive. That's why we are strong." The aliens lowered their glowing eyes, no longer mocking. They had learned an important lesson. Humans were not weak. Humans were not simple. Even a child could outsmart them if they were clever and brave enough. Lily Carter smiled faintly, looking at the aliens. They had laughed at a small sword, but now they understood. Humans were strong in ways they could never predict. The human group, led by Dr. Blake, moved carefully through the ship. The aliens did not resist. They were humbled, and they understood that humans were clever, courageous, and unpredictable. Lily looked at Ethan, proud and determined. She had protected him, herself, and the humans. She had turned the tables completely. The aliens had laughed, but now they knew humans were not to be underestimated. And as they walked through the quiet, glowing corridors of the alien ship, Lily felt a deep sense of pride. She had shown the true power of humans. She had shown that brains, courage, and unpredictability could challenge even the strongest beings. The samurai sword, once laughed at, had been her focus, her tool, and her symbol. Humans were clever, brave, and unpredictable. Even an 11-year-old girl could change everything, and that was the true power of humanity.